Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here, and today we are actually talking about a Russian COVID-19 disinformation campaign that targeted influencers, basically on Instagram and other platforms. Here's what's going on. I thought this was really interesting, but I think it also underscores the serious nature with the issues of social media being a platform for foreign interference in obviously other countries. Now, this is coming from Cyberscoop, and again, I thought this was interesting. Here's what's going on. A Russia-based disinformation push about COVID-19 vaccines wasn't a traditional influence campaign so much as it was partially a campaign on influencers. Now, a subsidiary of a UK-based registered marketing firm, basically they're behind the effort. They're known as Phase, F-A-Z-Z-E, tried to basically spoon feed popular accounts on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube a package of articles and instructions about the Pfizer vaccine, claiming that it obtained information about fatalities following a hack and leak operation. Instead, as Facebook outlined in a Tuesday report detailing this campaign, some of those influencers thought, this ain't right, and so they actually exposed it on social media. Now, the campaign against Pfizer began in May, but it actually traced its roots back to November and December of last year, with the first phase being devoted to bashing the AstraZeneca vaccine. Its primary targets were India and Latin America, but to some small extent in the United States, again, according to Facebook. Now, Facebook said that it removed 243 Instagram accounts and 65 Facebook accounts from Russia that it linked to Phase, the marketing group out of the UK. Now, although Facebook couldn't get to the bottom of who was actually behind Phase, the company said it was the latest evolution in tactics meant to fly under the radar. And unlike other campaigns that cover a range of political and societal topics, this one was, and I quote, focused on a single theme with bursts of activity all centered on COVID vaccines. That's according to Facebook's head of security policy, Nathaniel Gletcher. Now, the Phase campaign began rather crudely, according to Facebook, with memes that mismatched text and hashtags in different languages that actually suggested the AstraZeneca vaccine, and according to this, I'm not kidding apparently, that the vaccine could actually turn recipients into chimpanzees. Most of those Instagram posts had 0 likes, no petitions, were signed for this. It was very, very badly done. But the second phase that began in May of this year purported to have hacked and leaked a document from AstraZeneca about a higher casualty rate for Pfizer's vaccine. Both of these phases coincided with nations offering different kinds of approvals for the vaccine. AstraZeneca obviously having some troubles in the UK and Europe. Here in the United States, we very heavily have Pfizer and Moderna, secondarily Johnson & Johnson with a single shot, and that has obviously been a bit of a concern. Now, the evolution of this dovetails with another recent trend of leaning on opaque PR and marketing firms, and with running a large number of fake accounts basically getting harder to do, it makes sense to sprinkle a message among highly followed influencers. Meaning, if I'm an influencer on social media and somebody comes to me and says, hey, I'm going to pay you a crap ton of money to basically put something out, there's going to be a lot of people that don't have scruples out there that go ahead and push that out. And I think this speaks to, one, just the openness of social media, which is both, I think, good and bad when it comes to society, as I believe it's helped to contribute driving a wedge into society. But when we're speaking about influencers, we've seen articles, and I've done videos and podcasts on how influencers are either good or bad, depending on the situation. But overall, I think that the influencer ecosystem, if you will, is not a good thing. Oftentimes, people are essentially getting likes, follows, and sales by virtue of having no real substance behind them. And this is one of those things. I have been offered and have been approached by other organizations to go ahead and say, hey, we'd like to advertise with you, or can give us a blurb and we'll pay you X amount of dollars before your videos and your podcast, just given what I do in cybersecurity and the level of followers I have. And I'm not saying I'm not a Kardashian by any stretch, nor do I ever want to be, but I have a good chunk of people that listen to me, and thank you for that as you were sitting here listening to me. But I don't do that. I would never advertise a product that I don't believe in or I don't have any knowledge or information in. And so if I'm recommending a antivirus or a firewall, it's something that I actually stand behind, and that's something that I think is important. But influencers tend not to have the scruples because they're really in it for the money. This for me is a labor of love. I have a day job that pays my bills. So by virtue of that, I think it really behooves the entire population that if you're looking at an influencer, listening to an influencer, or following an influencer in any way, shape, or form, take it with a grain of salt. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is always right. And especially when you're talking about a national, or rather in this case, international health crisis, do your actual research from validated sources. I think that's beyond important. We have a huge problem with misinformation and disinformation. And if these accounts that Facebook are finding from Russia that are directly linked to a marketing campaign that is attempting to buy the favor of influencers to influence you, that's a problem that needs to be addressed, and I think it needs to be addressed very, very publicly. So here we are. That is your news of the day. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, and please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please stay private. Thanks, everyone.